Hello everyone, my name is Zern77 bringing you yet another Dragon Ball Legends team building video, and this one I'm actually really excited to show because I seem to have found a way to make the champion the hero of Earth, everyone's role model, Mr. Satan, aka Hercule, work pretty well as far as I can tell. So this team came about because I pulled this guy here and I've been wanting to make him work. I've tried him on a couple of different teams. I wasn't sure how much I was going to like him, but the more I've played him, I actually really like him a lot. I think he's super beastly and fun, but there's some intricacies to his beastliness that you kind of have to keep in mind when you're playing him, and that's kind of what this team is based around. So he buffs red, so my goal was to kind of get him on a color counter team, which is this red, green, like we talked about before. So we're mainly boosting our red units here, but we also have Mr. EX Goku 7 stars, who's always just a great bench unit. We've got him thrown in just to give Mr. Green Vegeta a little bit of a boost. So we'll start off with just the active units and kind of tell you how this team works. First, you've got Mr. Satan, aka Hercule. Yes, he is going to be in there bopping fools and figuring out where all these tricks come from, these magic beams and mirrors. We also, of course, have Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and then we have Vegeta. Now, this team is based primarily around two things. Number one, just giving this guy as much room to work with his abilities as possible, and two, Rising Rush deterrence. Making it to where it's pretty much, if you don't hit him with the Rising Rush, then your Rising Rush is wasted. So the thing is with this Goku is that when he starts off, he gets 40% to damage inflicted and 30% to on-key recovery from battle start for 45 timer counts. That's really big. It's really strong. After that, though, he gets minus 50 to key recovery for 15 timer counts. A little bit of a penalty, but not something to be overcome. But of course, he loses this stuff, the 40% and stuff. So, but this is where I started really trying to tinker with, and what led me to Mr. Satan is he has another ability that allows him to lower his strike and blast card arts, as well as increases draw card speed by 1 whenever he comes into the battlefield. Now this only lasts 10 timer counts, but this is going to last 45, and of course you got his main ability as well that lasts 30. You want to activate pretty quick. So the thing is when he first starts off in the match, if you start him, he is a monster for the first 10 seconds because he's got all those buffs going at once, including this one. Now, after the first 10 seconds, you want to keep him in, but you also want this. This is the one that's really going to turn him from like, oh, strong guy to like, whoa, this dude can kill you in one combo if he really wants to. But it's kind of a pickle because if you switch him out, then you got to wait a whole 10 seconds to bring him back in and then use that ability. And so you've lost a good amount of this time here. So what I started looking into is, Hercule's abilities here, which are really fantastic. And the most important one is his super. When he hits with his super, it shortens your substitution count by 10. So basically, if you're on a normal substitution count, which you should be with Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the only, certain characters increase their own substitution count, but normally it's 10. If he hits his super, you can immediately tag back into Goku. He also brings the super with him, so you're going to be getting supers quite a bit, and his super is cheap. It's 35. On top of that, his Z ability lowers supers even more. So the idea is to use Super Saiyan 3 Goku until his 10 counts ability runs out, or until at least around then, once you kind of use up a Vanish at that point or something like that. Either save a super or just hope you're going to get a super for Mr. Satan, bring him in, hit his super, and then just switch right back into Goku. This puts him at the most possible beast mode. And he's very fearsome. If you can keep these buffs going, then he's constantly got those other buffs, and he can really shred through an entire team. Now, of course, the Vegeta is here for countering blues, as well as more Rising Rush deterrence. So the thing is both of these characters, Hercule as well as Vegeta, if you get them to 0 health, They don't die. They recover a little bit of health, and then you have to quote unquote kill them again. Vegeta can even heal, which is awesome. And then with Mr. Satan, it's really awesome because when he dies, not only does he come back with 30%, but he also gets reduced damage received by 80%, as well as this amazing Champion's Call, which, once he gets, pretty much when that happens, when he dies and comes back, or if he's below 40%, then he gets these great buffs to his entire team, 30% to allies inflicted damage, as well as 40% to allies ki recovery. It's really strong. So pretty much you can keep him out a lot and his defenses are not as nearly as bad as Super Saiyan 3 Purple. Still not great, but not as nearly as bad. You can keep him out a whole bunch, just laying down damage. Switch to Vegeta sometimes for distractions and cover, countering blues. And then whenever they Rising Rush you either have Mr. Satan or Vegeta to take the Rising Rush. You want to preferably let Mr. Satan take it. That way you can get those amazing team buffs. And then on top of that, what makes that work so well is by the time that's typically going to happen in a match, you're probably going to be reaching kind of his limit, his 45-second limit. So when Mr. Satan dies and gives your team that boost, then Super Saiyan 3, he doesn't really suffer very much. He's still getting like almost the damage inflicted he got at the start of the match, and the ki recovery he got at the start of the match. So pretty much you get to keep this guy at full power all the time, almost. And it's really, he's very intense at that point. And it's just an amazingly fun team to play. Mr. Satan is so much fun. I honestly really, playing him, I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. Let me see if I think this guy is actually pretty damn good. His main ability is kind of amazing. It completely shuts down blast cards. His Z ability, of course, is amazing. I kind of wish I had more. So I want to pull one more so I can get the -5 now. And then, of course, these unique abilities just make him a problem to deal with. On top of this alone is literally one of the best skills in the game. Like, the fact that you can vanish with a character, switch into Satan, use this, and then immediately switch back into that character is so strong for certain characters like Goku that get buffs whenever they come into the battle. And also his green card is great too, especially if you're down to just his green card and it's only 9 ki. It's very easy to use. You just throw this out there, it destroys all of their cards and puts you at a ki advantage typically, which is great. He also even though his stats are pretty garbage, he does the jobs he needs to do pretty well. He can take damage pretty well for some reason. I think a lot of it just has to do with the fact that, he gets this ability, so you don't have to worry as much about him dying, as well as once that ability activates, he gets that 80% reduction. Kind of almost makes him invincible for just a moment. And if he needs to do strike damage, he can. It's not easy for him necessarily, but he can. It's just, you don't want to rely on him killing somebody, but pretty much when played as I think the developers intended for him to play, he's actually pretty fucking good. I really want to mess with him on more teams, but for now this is working great. But especially with all the red buffs and stuff, he really can take the hits he needs to take. And of course having that extra super is great for him as well. Also, the extra super is also great for Goku because his green card restores ki by 50 and does 20% to special move damage, as well as his special move does an additional 20% to that. So he is built a lot around his super. That green card is really good, and the fact that Mr. Satan brings a super with him is great for him. His super can do a lot of damage, especially if you activate the green card before it, and the green card pretty much guarantees you're going to get the super because of the ki recovery. And he's got minus to his super because of Mr. Satan's awesome Z ability. So yeah, and then Vegeta, honestly, like I mentioned before, Vegeta is mainly for Rising Rush to turns and blues, but he's just such a good character. Do not underestimate how good this fucking character is. The only buff he's receiving is for himself, as well as from this guy right here. Oh, I guess he's also receiving the special move buff from Mr. Satan, but he still just can hold his own so well. He's got solid defense, solid attack. His dying ability is incredible. If he for some reason is in a crisis situation, he can use the strike arts, which is nice. His green card is just so good. Yeah, this character is great. He's one of the best off-color units you can have just on your team. You know, like on a color counter team, just so good. Like, the only issue that this team kind of has is if for some reason Super Saiyan 3 gets taken out pretty early on, then they're not going to be as strong. But, I mean, I've had matches where that happened, and even Vegeta, especially with Mr. Satan's buff, once you get him down there, he can just run back the entire game. Like, you know, if you get that inflicted damage buff and key recovery buff, along with him being able to die, and this amazing buff here, like, he's just so good. So, but yeah, so anyway, I know I've rambled for a long time. This team is so fun. It's one of the most fun teams I've played in this game yet. It's doing well in PvP. You know, I haven't played a ton of matches, but the matches I've played have gone just fine. And there's just not a better feeling than, you know, bringing down the pain when it comes to these cronies, honestly, these false gods that we have out here running around with their blonde hair and their pink skin and all sorts of things, and that's just not real. It's just not real. It's all a trick, and it's good to finally be able to bring that and show people for what things really are, what reality is. Like, let's get real, people. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and cut to some footage here so you can see some of this team in action.
Alright, so I started off Vegeta right here because I figured he would start Bardock because I'm up against the good old Trinity. Able to switch in Goku because I figured he would do exactly that. Activate the main ability, just get shit going. That's what he does right out the gate, is just get shit going. And this damage against a a neutral color right at the beginning is so strong. I got the Rising Rush, just oh my god. I kind of forgot how fast this match moved. This Goku, man, he can really make stuff happen really quick. Anyway, so Gogeta's dead. Oh god, there's nothing better than seeing Hercule just smack the fuck out of the strongest fusion ever and just knock his ass out. So anyway, back in here, switch into Hercule. And it's a trick, man. It's a fucking trick. Your little blasts are not gonna work with me. I know that he has no blast cards now. He can't use blast cards for 15 timer counts. So right now I'm just trying to buy time, see if I can get a super with Mr. Satan, but it does not happen. I don't really get to do a lot of the technique I was talking about here. Oh, watch this. That's a purple Brawly super attack against Green Vegeta with no defensive buffs besides his own. Yeah, that's fine. He can totally manage that. That's fine. Like, half health for something like that is really not that bad. Anyway, so Vegeta continues to hold his own against Brawly. I win this clash here. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in Goku, activate his super, and that's a lot of damage. That's without the green card. I go ahead and read the Tap Blast, and God, just go in. Right now, I've got all the boosts going. They're still going, and man, that's good damage against a blue character. But anyway, yeah, I actually don't get to use the whole Goku. Oh, check this out. So, green card, destroy my card, key recovery, and he's got like no cards now. So he hits Vegeta here, uses his main ability. And you know he's so low on cards, he has to go straight into it. Now, that's fine. He's not going to die. He's going to actually take this hit. It's actually really good to get him to burn that ultimate. So, go ahead and heal up, and whatever. That's cool, dude. Read his blast there. Go ahead and use a super. Get out of there. Read his roll. Smack him around. But he doesn't care. I'm going to keep him in, because that way if he switches into Bardock, it's going to hurt so much more. And yeah, at this point, not a whole lot you can do. Like, yeah, there's still reds. I actually switch into Mr. Satan at this point because, like, that's cool. He's fine. I'm not worried at all if he gets even down to the point of death. I kind of want him to die or get close to it because I get that buff. But even if he gets down to the point of death, he's invincible for like a little while because of his 80% damage reduction. So I go ahead and hit this super. That way I can switch right back into Vegeta. I'm going to go ahead and use the Rising Rush. I almost don't want this to hit so I can go into a strike card, but it actually does hit. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this kills him. So I didn't get to do a lot of the Goku, Mr. Satan stuff in this particular match, but I feel like this match is pretty good, just showing like how good this team is. A lot of it's based around Goku and Vegeta. And damn, Mr. Satan is not too shabby. I'll try to upload another match at some point because that was just so quick, but anyway, that's Mr. Satan can definitely stop these tricks. Do not question him. He's a great teammate. I love him. I'll be back around for some more videos here soon.